Hey, I'm Mark with Affordable Solar Frames, and today I'm going to show y'all how to do it yourself and build your own solar panel using our system. This is a finished product. This one I took off my personal solar array. It's a couple of years old. When you buy one of our kits, we offer all different sizes. It will come packaged like this, 1.5 inch aluminum, 1/8 inch thick. Real simple to put together. The glass we use is 1/4 inch clear tempered. It's got a 100-mile-an-hour wind load on it. We sell this smaller size glass one at a time or two at a time, or with the frame assembled in a box like that. All the other size frames, glass that we offer, I have to ship by freight because they're so big. Or you can just buy the frames and get your own glass locally. You should be able to go to your own local glass company, and they should be able to order this glass for you. Or you can use plexiglass. Just don't use the thin plexiglass. You want to go with 1/4 inch. The thin plexiglass will warp in the sun. It looks bad and it'll crack your cells. So I recommend at least 1/4 inch thickness. I'm going to show y'all how to assemble this thing, starting with the frame, and we'll go right through soldering and a complete panel. When you assemble your frame, you don't want to bolt it together first. You want to just lay your pieces like they would go. I have a hole in my table. It just makes it so much easier to be able to lower the glass in and see what you're doing when you're soldering and encapsulating. First thing I do is, once I lay it out, I use 100% silicone, 50-year warranty. Everything we're doing, I want it to last 30 years or more. So we don't cut any corners, don't skimp, and try to get by with something that's going to last 5 years and then you're out. You want to just lay a pretty heavy bead here and be very generous with it. I'll get my cameraman to zoom in on this a little bit. You want to put down plenty of silicone. And you need to be kind of quick with it because it will form a skin on it. Once you have it like so, then you simply lay the glass. And this hole makes this process so much easier. When you lay it in, don't worry about getting it perfect, and we'll simply take our clips. One goes in each corner. You get 4 extras. They're mounting brackets. They'll bolt on like so, and you can mount it to your own array. And there's 4 little clips that help hold the glass in. They're also siliconed in. And we dab a good amount on it, and just set it right where the holes are. We use stainless steel bolts and lock nuts, and simply just slide them from the outside in. All the holes match up. You get a perfect connection every time. Don't worry about getting the glass perfectly centered. We're going to do that in a minute. you've got it, all your screws and stuff in place, we're simply going to tighten them up. I just eyeball everything, make sure it looks right, and use a cordless drill. What I like to do is make sure the glass is just centered up. It still will slide around, and you've got about a 3/16 to gap all the way around. That's about what you're looking for. Now, next step we're going to do is give this glass a quick cleaning, and we'll start assembling the cells. Again, I just use Windex. The cells I buy for this particular panel we're making are 3x6 cells. We also use 5x5 inch cells and 6x6 inch cells. We also make custom frames. Silicone's a little wet still. But we'll actually use this as our working area. You want to solder right onto the glass. The glass acts as a heat sink. The cells I buy, I don't cut any corners. It's a 3x6. They'll come like so and packaged in bundles. These are grade A cells, 1.8 watts. You can buy these cells that are 0.2 watts and a half a watt. Why go to the trouble of building a panel that's going to be inferior by buying a cheap wattage cell? So you get them, they look like so. Don't worry about getting fingerprints and stuff on them. They clean off real easy. You get tabbing wire, and it comes packaged like so. You wrap it around a piece of cardboard like so, and you take your scissors and you cut them, and it automatically makes it the perfect length for you. I simply lay my tabbing wire down, and I use the weight to hold the tabbing wire, and then I simply slide align the cell under it. I use this CL Flux. I like it the best. The pins that you can use are kind of messy and hard to clean. I've got this little tool I made. It's a little dentist tool. I bent it to look like so. It comes real handy. I just dip it in there, and there's a drop hanging on it, and you just run it down that tabbing wire. It will discolor the cell a little bit, but it wipes right off. And we'll line it up at the bottom here so we get the length right. And you take a good soldering iron. It's just a 30-watt Weller. And the glass underneath helps absorb a lot of the heat so that you don't put too much heat into the cell. And the solder, I can feel it melting, and it slides easy when it's melted. If it's not melted, then the soldering iron has trouble moving forward. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And if it doesn't work first time, just heat it up and do it again. But, that's about it on tabbing. You do one on the other side 36 times, and you just sit down and listen to the ball game and tab them up. To clean them, I simply spray a little Windex on a paper towel, and you just wipe it, and you'll never know that it was ever touched. I have some that are already tabbed up and ready, and I'm going to show you how you take, and we'll start here. We're going to go 4 rows of 9 in this particular panel. Basically, I take these weights to hold everything in place, and I'm starting about a 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch from the end and off the edge. And you just lay one next to the other, and it's just a matter of eyeballing them. A lot of people will use spacers. I don't see the point. These cells, they're not the same size. One's a little different than the next, so eyeballing them has just worked out so much better. And I'll go ahead and get all 9 of them lined up and just use weights to hold them in place. And then you'll solder the back of them. Again, I use the flux. Take a drop, stick on each little dot. This little tool's really handy. I like to add a little bit of solder. You can do it without adding solder, but you solder 9 of them, 1 of them's not going to be connected. And don't panic, because you can go back and fix them. I'll do the center one first, and I'll move to the next one and do the center and do the center, and then that lets it cool off a little bit, because your cells will warp like a potato chip if you get them too hot. And this little tool, I can hook under there and see if it's connected or not. Again, you're going to do this all 36 cells. Once you get them all connected, 4 rows of 9, you will have to bust them together, and I'll show you that on my, I've got a complete panel that we can look at that we're fixing to encapsulate.